Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I've had a bunch of people the last couple days ask me in lives and things if I would discuss, the situation with Larry Wheels and her Rhabdo. I always say that incorrectly. That's okay. I'm someone I'm in my late 40s. I coach full time still. I train. I vlog all my training, and so actually I'm just I'm just going to voice this over some training clips from the last week, just my normal workouts, because I put all that stuff up so you guys can see what I do every week. And unlike a lot of people, I do that, and I think it gives people an idea of what sort of volume we can really tolerate. And I think that's an important point here. Look, Larry's had a lot of problems. And as I've said many times, whenever Larry gets hurt and he does these things, it's such a shame because the guy had a limitless potential really for strength. He's very gifted in terms of strength genetics. Has always been a great athlete, but the thing is he doesn't always make good decisions in training. He likes to showboat a lot, and here's the thing that people have to remember. And I'm not saying that as a knock. I'm just speaking factually. And I think it's unfortunate because the guy has so much potential. Has so much potential. He switched over from strength sports over to bodybuilding. The guy, to my knowledge, I had to look into it. I found out he downsized. He's claiming to be drug-free now. I can't speak to that. I will say that is probably unlikely after, again, continuous use since his teens. And that's not knocking him. That's not slander. That is his own admissions from a decade ago, right? He was telling us a decade ago what he started using in high school, and it was very, very, very high doses. So he's always trained that way. So that being said, I doubt he's not on at least a replacement dose of something, even though he's lost size. And that's just my opinion. I'm not saying it's true. It might not be true, but it just seems extremely unlikely that he's completely off everything. Now, he's obviously scaled his doses way back. He has, gotten pretty lean from what I've seen. He's quite a bit smaller. But here's the thing. Now he's got Rhabdo. And I think here's what people have to remember. People always say this nonsense. There's no such thing as overtraining. All right. As a coach, I can tell you guys right now, fatigue management of my lifters is one of the single most important things I have to deal with. Okay? It is one of the single most important things I have to deal with. And I'm not saying that people can't handle very high workloads. What I'm saying is it can interfere with their progression, injury rates and everything start going up, sometimes for no benefit. And in some cases, you literally cut your gains in half by doing too much training. Okay? They get cut in half. Our gains get reduced because, again, we're not recovering from the training. And this is the problem we have, unfortunately, when you have guys like Larry who, he started using high doses from such a young age that he has always had extra recovery in a bottle. And there's a downside to that. That's when injuries go up too, when we start, using chemicals to help with our recovery. It can create problems because now we're burning the candle at both ends. We recover better so we can handle a higher workload, so we work harder. Okay? But sometimes something has to give, something has to break. And we saw that a lot. And I think he realized that. That's one reason he backed off of stuff. I think health scares, downsized. Totally understandable. The guy got hurt quite a few times, and it's because of that. The problem is that, and again, the fact that he got this condition, this is just being blunt, being honest, shows that he never learned good fatigue management. Okay, because you have to be on the extreme end for that to happen. Granted, it happens a lot. It's very serious. People can die from it. People get kidney damage from it. There's problems from this, and it's what happens is when you've created so much breakdown that you're starting to get your muscle tissue is breaking down and getting into your bloodstream. Okay, and that can again, it can harm your kidneys and other things because they're not prepared for all those tissue proteins floating around. That's not a good thing. Okay, foreign proteins and things in the bloodstream is bad. It's very bad. It's not the same thing as eating proteins. We're getting down to just amino acids. All right, so the issue there is it's poor fatigue management, and I think that comes from the fact that Larry always had the option when younger, when he's training hard, if he needed more recovery, you could just up the dose, bro. When that's no longer an option, when you've greatly reduced what you're taking, or even in his case, might be on a replacement dose, that's what I think he's probably done. Again, only Larry really knows. No one knows for sure. I think that's a good educated guess. It's probably on a replacement dose. So like a true TRT dose, very possible. Which again, he's still letting him function and everything, but he's not going to have that recovery in a bottle anymore. Okay? He's not going to have that anymore. Overtraining starts to become a serious concern. Things like Rhabdo start to become a serious concern. Okay, fatigue management's a big deal, and that's the big problem. People always see these pro bodybuilders, certain pro strongmen and stuff, who are using very, very, very large amounts of things that help them recover in very high doses. Yeah, their workloads can get crazy high, okay, but that's not going to apply to everyone else. And unfortunately, for Larry, it's not going to apply to him anymore either when he scales way back. And the thing is, he got away with that. I mean, other than the injuries, he got away with that for so many years. And now that he doesn't have that in there, it's very clear from the fact that he got hospitalized with this. He just simply never learned appropriate limits of training. He never learned appropriate fatigue management. It was always, I can just push harder, push harder, push harder. Well, that doesn't actually work, guys. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You can't outwork anymore when you don't have liquid recovery. Okay, when you don't have an enhanced recovery, a massively enhanced recovery. If you're not talking about using small amounts, TRT or even double TRT, triple TRT, that's still small amounts. And really, we shouldn't be using terms double TRT. That's not really a thing. Either you're in the normal range or you aren't. What I mean is way beyond a replacement dose, but still in that sort of range. They're not getting that sort of recovery anymore. They're just not. Okay, they're just not. And this is a valuable lesson, I think, for people watching. Hopefully it's a valuable lesson for Larry, because I don't want to see the guy hurt. I hope that he has a healthy and fruitful life. I'm not a hater, I want to see him do well. And I hope it's a valuable learning experience for him, and he can learn some things about himself, about training. He's in new territory, and I want the best for him. And I would hope that most people do too. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.